Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining Team Perfectly Clear. We're extra excited because today we've launched Retouching 2.0, which is our most powerful retouching engine yet. Available both on-prem and in the cloud, it delivers more robust and precise detection, more natural results, and higher image quality than ever before. And we want to share all our hard work with you today. Over the next hour, you'll hear from myself, Sumeru, the Director of Products here at Perfectly Clear, Brad, our fearless CEO, Alina, our head of R&D who's leading innovation, and finally, we're incredibly lucky to be joined by David Drum, General Manager of H&H Color Lab. As a major influence in the professional print industry, David's standards are incredibly high. He recently tested Retouching 2 for his own workflow, and we're proud to say that he absolutely loved it. He'll be sharing his candid thoughts on that experience a bit later. First, some housekeeping. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop in your question in the Q&A panel, and we'll do our best to answer them throughout the webinar. Otherwise, we'll address them during the Q&A period at the end. Next, we'll have some poll questions as well throughout the webinar. Please answer them based on your experience, and let's see the results. Finally, at the end of the webinar, we'll be sharing the recording and resources with you so you can get started with Retouching 2 yourself. As for the agenda, today you'll hear from our CEO, Brad, on why we rebuilt our retouching engine from the ground up. There'll be a live demo from myself and our head of R&D, Alina, and a candid conversation with industry leader, David Drum. And finally, a look at what's coming next on our roadmap. As we get started here, here's our first poll question. What is your biggest frustration with your current photo retouching? Is it that the results don't look natural enough? Is it that the detection misses too many problem areas? There you go. I see one for that already. Is it that it slows down your production process, or is it about consistency in quality across batches? So we're starting to see the results trickle in. Just wait a few more seconds here.
Says I'm not allowed to vote, Sumeru, so I guess I can't.
Which one would you have voted for?
I don't want to bias any results, so I'll
Fair.
just I'll just be quiet.
All right. They're
We
still
want,
coming in.
we want to make sure everyone's interactive and engaged, so thanks for everyone for hitting the keyboard.
Okay. So the poll has now ended, and it looks like a majority of you feel that the results don't look natural enough. And that's what we've heard from our customers as well. You'll see in our Retouching 2 walkthrough that we can help handle that. And now I'm going to hand it off over to Brad to talk about what we've been hearing in the market and the reason behind why we launched Retouching 2.0. Over to you, Brad.
Cool. Thanks so much, Sumeru, and thanks team for all your hard work on that. That was actually cool results there that we saw. So yeah, we'll talk a bit about the industry here in a minute with David Drum, so I'm not going to speak too much on that. But what we've heard a lot is it's important that we respect accuracy, authenticity, and security, which comes down to a couple of things here. One is quality. We need to make sure that quality is what you guys expect. That was part of one of the questions there. Of course, with automation, being able to do that at scale, how you need a solution that can handle that because you need the ROI of labor savings and time savings and privacy, which is obviously a hot topic in today's AI and where are customer images being sent to and are they being used to train something that I'm not aware of and etc. So those are all discussion points that we heard about. So if we tie those into what we have done here, Sumeru, if you want to click on the next slide, we, as many of you know, we have a trademark on real color photography, and we've been around 25 years. It's actually our 25th year anniversary this year. Hard to believe, but time flies when you're having fun. We were the first company to launch retouching 15 years ago, which hard to believe is seems like just yesterday when we did it. So it's time to update our technology for retouching, and that's what we're announcing here today. We're excited to do that as times have changed. tying that back into real color photography, both this technology and everything else we do must abide to the way that the human eye sees things. And we got patents and unique technology on that, but that's about keeping it real, which is important. And I'm also pleased to say that no, actually, one last thing there, Samir, no pets or customer images have been harmed in the making of our Retouching 2.0. So what that means is one, Sarah, our office manager, our lovely Yorkie that we have at home is happy about it, but also what we're showing you today is a classical based algorithm. So we actually haven't needed to train any images, and we would never train even our AI on images unless we specifically got consent from you. So that's something we hear a lot. So just want to be transparent and upfront about that. All right, now we can hit. So the main attraction, Retouching 2.0. Well, we've built it from scratch. It's the most powerful retouching engine yet that we've done. I'm super excited by it. Can't sleep at night when I first got my hands on what we're going to show you today. So it's great results, but I'm not going to steal Alina's thunder. Let her dive into that. The couple of cool stats there at the bottom is much more robust in detection accuracy. We got 8 tools that you're going to hear about. It took 18 months of development, and the technology that you're seeing with our amazing rockstar team is a total of 15 development here. So it's a big undertaking and really cool stuff that I'm proud of with that the team has accomplished. So just to whet your appetite, but before we do that, you can put some more butter on your popcorn as we start talking to Mr. David Drum. David, you and I have known each other for a long time. Back both, I think, when both of us have had hair 20 years ago or so. And so it's nice to see you again. Thanks for taking the time. There's a lot of you probably know David runs H&H Color Lab, which is a well-respected pro lab in the US and a very high quality standard. So, David, I'll just turn it over to you. What do you want to comment? What are you seeing in both the industry today and then needs, pain points? What brings you to this webinar?
Yeah, for sure. I think the first thing to level set is we sit in a unique position in that we definitely our family business is H&H Color Lab. We've been in business for 56 years now. So we do the product manufacturing side for portrait, wedding, school, and sports. But we also have two other pillars to our business, and one of those is the software and technology. So we're have invested a ton in e-commerce, automated communications, and workflow for professional photographers. So we have a lot of developers, we have a CTO, we spend a lot of resources on also building the tools that independent professional photographers need to scale their business. Then the third pillar of our business is the community and education. So we spend a ton of time with our customers in communities of similar sized businesses. That is really our mastermind groups and our advisors. And so we get together a few times a year, and there will be anywhere between 30 and 150 businesses in the room. And we're sitting down and having these conversations, like Brad is asking about, of what are the problems that independent professional photographers are having? What are they hearing from the school organizations, sports organizations, from their portrait clients, from their wedding clients? What concerns do they have that we need to address? And that world that we live in is why I reached out to Brad and the rest of the team. Really been in contact for a number of years, but specifically earlier this year. And I said, guys, there is a need in the industry. There is such a swing right now into being able to prove your data security and privacy that I think, number one, working with trusted relationships of people that you know. It is such a big difference. You guys know in your businesses and schools and sports organizations and individual photography clients feel the same way. If you can speak to the owner, you're not going to talk to the owner all the time, but if you can get to the owner, that's a very different relationship than organizations that are more corporate. There's a stronger sense of responsibility, a stronger sense of personal ethics and values that are in play because it's my name when I'm talking to a customer. It's Brad's name when he's talking to a customer. And so that's number one. Number two, we have the world of where are my images and data going has really been exploding. And so being able to provide transparency on what's happening to images and data, being able to make very clear, simple statements about what you're doing with images and data, including not training AI with client images unless they've given their permission. And legislatively, in some states, you're not allowed to train AI on images of children younger than 13. Things like where does the data go and what are you doing with it? Are you using it for any other purpose than to deliver on the photography and printing commitment that you've made? And then, so how we develop the technology matters. Doing that in an ethical way, doing it in a responsible way matters. And so when I reached out to Brad and the rest of the team earlier this year, I said, look, we really need some tools and some flexibility on where this work is done. And specifically around retouching, I'm a firm believer that you got to have the cloud tools, you have to have the server side tools and the APIs to tie it into high volume workflows. We also need a new generation of, of uh, capabilities that happen on the local computer or on the computer at the studio inside that independent photography business. And that's the piece that I was really pleasantly surprised that Brad said, yes, that is what we're working on, and yes, this is what we can deliver. Then we started looking at the results of Retouching 2.0 and the controls that were available and the different recipes that we could put together. And we were really pleased with what we saw. So we've worked with some customers who have been interested in this project and given us permission to test with their images. And we're really pleased so far. So that combination for us right now, the piece that we will be using is that library that will be plugged into our workflow software that lives inside the local imaging business, that doesn't have to be transported up to the cloud, processed, and brought back down, but can live on that local computer and be modified on that local computer so that you don't have the transportation waste, you don't have the wait, and then you can see the results immediately, adjust the recipe or choose a different recipe immediately, and then apply that in volume across the whole rest of the images for your job. So those to me are all of the right things that check the boxes of privacy, of security, of beautiful retouching done very inexpensively. And just to us that defines what doing a right thing in a right way is. So that's why we're going to be working. We're working with Perfectly Clear with this release in our software.
Cool. Thanks, David. That covers a lot. Appreciate it. I guess to summarize a couple of things, there's kind of the whole industry movement. What are you doing with my images? Are you doing anything? Are you being transparent with it? We were at Spoil last week, last week.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, lots of questions around that. And how can you trust if somebody says we're not training it? How can we trust you? And discussions around that. So it's definitely a hot topic as well, important to be transparent on. So, and that's why I mentioned here, this is actually a classical based approach. So we haven't added to train any AI. We do have some AI stuff coming down the road that you'll see in a little bit as well. And yeah, so there's lots of stuff. Sumeru will talk about how it can run on-prem. So when people ask us, well, how long do you keep my images? What are the data? Just to be clear, running on-prem means it runs on your servers. We don't get access to anything. Like we don't know how many images you're running through. We don't get sent those images. They're running on your prem. So that's a powerful aspect that a lot of our large customers use us through as well, based upon high volume, because we're in the school photography, we're in consumer printing, we're in cruise lines, we're auto enhancing 140 million images a day. So quite a few all in all. So yeah, that's all good stuff. Thank you. Um, was there anything else that you wanted to share? You said you tested it, you liked the quality. I was excited to hear that as well, because we were testing it internally, and a couple of things will show you what's better with it. And I was happy to hear your validation, and a couple other of our customers that have looked at it and said, yeah, this is what we're after. So I was pleased on that and the image quality. But anything else if you wanted to add from image quality or deployment or just industry in general, SPOA last week?
Yeah, I think that the last thing I would add is I think as an industry, we need to move very fast toward some very simple statements about what we're doing and what we're not doing with images and data. And if you're working with vendors, my counsel would be do not be timid. Ask very specific questions about do my images leave my computer? Does any version of my image leave my computer? Does any face mapping or biometric information leave my computer? And then ask them to prove it. Those are just basic questions. And if they do go somewhere else, then there's a second round of questions of who gets that information? Where do the servers live? How long is the data retained before it's destroyed? There's a whole nother round of questions. Because I think this technology world is exploding, and it will be so easy for us to, because we love something's convenience, that we won't ask those extra questions, and that could really hurt our business. We try to act in a way that if a customer finds out what's happening behind the scenes, we're not embarrassed in any way. And that just keeps us focused on doing a right thing in a right way at every turn in the road. And I appreciate, the Perfectly Clear team really just being total straight shooters in this whole process and understanding it from the beginning of how important this is.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. So what would you, kind of tying it into the person that asked a question last week as well, how do we know what you say is actually true? Like as a lab, if you're asking those questions, how do you know
Well,
what's the word? How do you know, yeah, I'm comfortable with those responses. I'm
yeah,
satisfied. Is there some
I think number one is there's the social responsibility answer, and that is if we're willing to put something in writing with what we're doing, then we're legally making a statement. If we're really willing to put something in writing and sign it, that would be step number one. Number two is there are actually ways that we use to check out our vendors, to monitor the bit stream behind the scenes of is there any communication with the cloud? And some of those technologies are a little more sophisticated. I wouldn't expect most studios to go and hire that capability. But one simple way is unplug the computer, and does it work? Unplug the computer from the internet. Does it work? If it doesn't, then it's communicating with the internet. You need to understand what it's doing. But I think putting in writing what you're doing and not doing, I think is a great place to start. And we've had to do that for our customers for a number of years, so they can provide that to their customers, the school districts and the sports organizations.
cool? Yeah, no, that all makes sense. Thanks for sharing your perspective on that. Appreciate it. Okay, I think in the essence of time, I want to make sure you guys can see all the cool stuff that is keeping me up at night in excitement of it. So I'm finished there. One quick Q&A, Nathan. You had asked what about Perfectly Clear here. So this is Retouching 2.0. Perfectly Clear has lots of different technologies. Our core color correction. This is all about retouching. So this is the next generation of skin smoothing, teeth whitening, eye enhancement that you'll see here in a second. That's new. All the other stuff is still all available, and everything that we do, you'll see at the end is deployable in multiple places, cloud, on-prem, etc. So just to address that one. All right. So rocking and rolling. Sumeru, back to you, I believe.
Yeah, Alina and myself. Alina,
Awesome.
let's get started with the demos.
Thanks, Brad and David. So what you've just heard from a customer perspective, I want to show you firsthand. So I'm going to walk you through what's changed and, more importantly, why it matters. So let's begin with eye enhancement. We've made significant improvements to our eye enhance technology to deliver more precise, natural-looking results. More accurate eye detection. Our updated detection is now much more targeted. We focus exclusively on the eye itself and just a touch of the lashes without affecting the eyelid area. Previously, the effect extended all the way up to the brows, which could look unnatural. No more darkening. So one of the biggest pain points with the previous version was unwanted darkening, especially in darker tones. Now eyes look brighter and more vibrant, even in shadowed or low light conditions. Natural looking processing. The enhancement is subtle and true to life, with no over-processed or artificial appearance.
So
More expressive eyes.
I was
Sorry?
going to say, just to be clear, you're toggling two things here for the audience. One is before and after, which is what you're doing now. And then when the retouching 2.0 is to the left, that's toggling between our old retouching, just so that everyone can see what's going on.
Yes, exactly. So this is the old version, and now Sumeru can switch to the new one. This is new one. Thank you, Brett. So, and more expressive eyes. The updated algorithm brings out natural depth and detail, making eyes look more expressive and alive. The next tool, dark circles. We've been reworking our dark circles feature from the ground up, and here's what's changed. More precise detection. We now detect only the actual darkened zone rather than the entire under eye area. This means our edits are applied exactly where they need it. More natural result. Previously, the tool could unintentionally smooth out skin folds and texture. Now we selectively brighten only the dark region, preserving the natural structure of the skin underneath. And skin tone awareness. This one is especially important. Our algorithm now takes skin tone into account when making adjustments, ensuring results that look authentic across the full spectrum of skin tones. So the next tool, teeth whitening. We've rebuilt our teeth whitening tool to deliver a result that looks truly natural, brighter, cleaner, teeth without the artificial glow or mask bleed that the previous version produced. Natural whitening, not over-processed. Our correction removes yellow tint while preserving tooth texture, even at high strength values. Old version at the same settings produces visible pixelation and loses natural tooth detail. Masks that stay where they belong. Old retouching masks frequently spill onto lips, gums, and tongue, creating visible white lines along the lip border. Our new masks have accurate shapes with smooth, invisible borders that covers only the teeth regardless of lighting conditions or mouth position. And consistency across lighting. The correction adapts naturally to different lighting and color conditions, so whitening looks proportional and believable whether the photo was taken in bright daylight or mixed indoor light.
We prevent, occasionally we'd fail before we'd call what I call it the milk mustache, get a little bit of white above your mouth, even if you're closed. So that is no longer an issue, which is exciting.
Yeah.
No offense to those of you that love milk.
Okay. Next tool is depth and volume. It is a brand new tool in our retouching suite, one that most competitors don't offer at all. It sculpts natural-looking facial depth without touching the eyes, mouth, or body. Most tools focus on smoothing and color, but depth is what makes a face look dimensional and professionally lit. Our tool selectively brightens and darkens facial zones to enhance natural contours, making it especially valuable for school and sport portraits where dynamic depth is typically reduced. Precise face-only correction. The adjustment applies exclusively to the face, skipping the eyes, mouth, and body entirely. Detection works reliably across key light and backlit images, including small groups. And it works for all skin tones. The correction delivers consistent natural result across the full spectrum of skin tones, with no uneven or artificial looking output on darker complexions. The next
And,
tool,
and that one's really cool for everyone that loves it. You can thank Alina for that. She was pretty adamant during the process. A little fun fact that, Brad, we need this. It's really going to make a difference on faces. I'm like, are you sure? Do we need it? We're busy. Why do we need it? And then when she and team invented it and I took a peek, I was like, Alina, this is really cool. She's like, I know. I told you.
thanks, Brad. Yeah, it's cool. Thank you. So the next tool, Perfectly Smooth. Skin smoothing is now a brand new agent built for natural results on every skin tone type with top-tier quality and detection. Texture and color preserved at any strength. The previous version blurs skin aggressively at high strength, creating an artificial doll effect and shifting colors in deep wrinkles. Our new algorithm softens skin while keeping texture, pore detail, and natural shadow color intact, even at strength 100. Works for every skin tone. The old version struggles with dark skin tones, the new one handles it well. Superior detection and masking. Old correction frequently fails on small faces, group photos, and extreme head angles. Our new detection accuracy significantly outperforms the previous solution, with precise masks that cleanly separate face from hair, eyes, lips, clothing, and background. Smarter face-aware correction. Unlike our competitors, which apply the same correction to everyone in a group photo, our tool retains individual correction areas per person, handles multi-person images reliably, and preserves the natural light-shadow pattern across the face. The next tool, blemish removal. We've transformed our blemish removal feature to deliver cleaner, more natural results, with smarter detection that leaves skin looking real, not retouched. True to life skin, not plastic. Old retouching smooths out texture and adds a visible magenta tint to corrected areas. Our new solution preserves natural skin texture, keeps original skin tone accurate, and achieves seamless transitions between corrected and untouched areas. Improved detection. Our detection now does a better job of distinguishing freckles, beauty marks, birthmarks, and moles from actual blemishes, helping to preserve what should stay while removing what shouldn't. Correction also tends to stay within the facial region, reducing bleeding to hair, eyes, or background. Our new detection works under strong backlight conditions, where the old one fails, covers all face sizes, and reliably processes group portraits. We detect blemishes across all sizes and all colors. The next tool, shine removal. We rebuilt our shine removal feature from the ground up, and here's what's changed. Stays on the face. The old correction frequently spilled onto hair, clothing, and background. We now apply shine reduction precisely within the facial region, so nothing outside the face is touched. No more green tint. Previously, the corrected areas picked up a visible green cast. We now reduce shine while keeping skin color natural, with no tint and no visible correction borders. The tool detects shine areas on the face using a segmentation model that generates accurate masks, excluding hair, beards, eyes, and teeth. It then reduces brightness and shine areas while preserving the natural skin texture, color, and light shadow pattern. The correction is applied only within the facial region and adapts to both key light and backlit low light conditions. So now let's look at all tools together on a couple of examples with different skin tones. So this is the full retouching. This was the old one. And now we can switch to the new version. And here's what it looks like when everything works together. Every tool you just saw applied to a single image. Notice it is still look like a real person. Natural skin, real texture, no plastic, no over-edited feel. And we can go to the next image with darker skin tone and with pretty low exposure. This is the old one. And this is the new one. So this is the whole point, professional quality retouching that stays true to life for every image.
One thing I would point out is those results look great, and they are great. They look much better when you view them outside of Zoom because Zoom is compressing the video stream quite a bit. So it's always more noticeable when you're just right on your desktop, just to point out that for everyone.
Yes, that's true. Thanks. That's all.
All right. Thanks, Alina. So thanks for showing us what changed between previous retouching to today's. My favorite one is the skin smoothing tool, where retain you still retain the natural look despite the lines being smoothed out. So it's incredible the work that we've done here. And the work that you're seeing here is now right. It's available on Quick Server, which is our hot folder solution. It's available on Workbench, which is what you're seeing now. It's also available on our web API. If you want to evaluate the engine before you go to production, we can share this beta build that we use for this demo today. So if you need it, please reach out. We'll get you set up with a beta build that you can test with. Now, in terms of availability,
And I think one thing, just for clarity, beta build, meaning it's not really beta because it's live and commercial on that, but we have a special build that allows you to toggle between the old and the new. And so you can still use that for existing customers that have the old and want to see the impact rather than just see the great new results.
thanks, Brad. And when you're finally ready to go over to production, you will, here's how you would access it. So to access Retouching 2.0, you need to update to the latest Workbench and Quick Server versions. So that's version 6, and that is now live if you already have the download links. If you already have the latest Workbench, which was version 5 until today, you should have gotten a pop-up to update already. If you are on an earlier version, so version 4 or earlier, let's get you upgraded. There is an installation link that we can share for the upgraded version. We'll share that with you, or please reach out if you need it, and we can get you set up with the latest version as well. If you're using our web API, you would have gotten the updates already as of this morning. If you're using Web API with custom presets, our team has already reached out to you on how you'll be able to leverage Retouching 2 in your workflows. And if you're on our SDK or CLI, please reach out to us if you're interested in the upgrade. We'll make sure we manage or help you manage the implementation of it. Okay, one last poll for everybody. Which retouching tool is the most important to you? I'm seeing some answers start to trickle in. Let's give it some time. I think skin smoothing is definitely seems to be a favorite. Let's give it a few more seconds for some folks that might want to participate as well.
One thing I noticed from personal experience, just playing with it a little bit, is the eye enlargement, which isn't the main attraction, but often when we're squinting, there's not, much of your eye. So being able to open it up, the manner of how it shows it, it reminds me of some of the, yeah, like almost avatar movies that you see, but in a really natural manner compared to before. So that was a fun one I had playing with it. So I'm glad I commented upon it because 0% were interested in eye enlargement. So there's one of me.
And something else I appreciate, guys, when we were testing this is it is so easy to over retouch something, whether it's a human being or it's an algorithm or it's AI. And you guys have really done a nice job retaining the character of the skin and that human. I think it's so important to honor that person and their identity, right? Um, as you look to remove those blemishes and those things that are transient, and so you can have the best picture possible. You guys really done a nice job on that.
Cool. Thanks, David.
All right. So next is Alina. Alina, why don't you tell us what's coming down in terms of roadmap for Retouch?
Yes, so our roadmap is defined by our customers. So we've heard our customers and what the market wants. Retouching 2.0 is all classical base and it ships today. From there, we are shifting to AI for the tools that need it. AI blemish removal comes in Q3, then flyaway hair removal and glasses glare 2.0 in Q4. So this is where we headed over the next 2 quarters.
Right. I think there's an AI blemish preview as well that Alina wanted to show everybody today.
Yes, here's a sneak peek at AI blemish removal. Classical retouching is great for a lot of tasks, but blemish removal is one of those cases where it's hard to clear the spots without softening the real skin detail too. So for this one, we went with AI, a new engine that clears the blemishes while keeping every freckle, pore, and bit of natural texture untouched. Look at the before and after. The breakouts are gone, but it still looks like real person, not plastic. It's in development right now, and we are working toward bringing it to market, so stay tuned for timeframes.
It's in development, but that is a real example image of the current state of development as well, which is pretty exciting on that. And one thing that makes our team unique, some people don't know this, some of you do, but yeah, Alina and the team engineering, we have astrophysicists, we got mathematicians, we have rocket scientists, we got a wide range of people. So we got three other image experts underneath Alina that work for her. We got, we'll call it young gun AI experts. We got old, senior, older, like myself, accomplished, maybe better, with a lot of experience. And so that's a unique talent that we're able to mix all of that together to produce these results because sometimes AI is the best solution, but it's not always.
Excellent. So, thanks, Alina and Brad. I think we're going to start answering some questions that have come in. But before we dive in, I want to share that if you want to hear about these new tools, any upcoming new tools, please go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter where, you'll have early access to or early information on what tools are coming down the pipe.
Where do they subscribe? Is that on our website?
I
I should know that, but
They, they should be able to. Yeah, we will share as part of the slides that we will share after this webinar. We'll make sure the newsletter link is included in there as well. Okay. Do we have any questions that came up?
we're ahead of schedule, so we got time. So yeah, please ask about the
Where
technology, the industry, anything.
I see, where can I find the link? Oh, there you go. That's already been answered. Okay. Yeah, if you go over to the Q&A panel, it looks like all of them have been answered. If you have any more questions, please feel free to post them. We'll make sure these are answered here today. Or if you want to reach out afterwards, that's fine as well.
Is there a general QA email that we have for people need to reach out and they don't have us directly? Sales@iq.photos, perhaps?
That would be the best. So if
Or
you go to
just,
our website, oh, sorry, go ahead, Brad.
no, you go ahead.
Yeah, if you go to our website, there's a big contact us button. You can reach out using that form, or just email sales@iq.photos directly. And in fact, the email address is actually in the next slide.
Sumeru, it looks like
Okay.
you got a couple questions.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I'm only on cloud jobs. What can I do to get retouching too? Because I don't use Workbench. So for this one, if you're on cloud jobs, it's using the web API. So that means it's already using retouching. It already has the retouching capability built in. If you're on default presets, it'll start picking up retouching 2.0 right away. If you have custom presets, that and we haven't reached out to you, please let us know. We'll make sure we set you up with custom presets that are optimized for a retouching 2.0, so you can leverage the full power of it.
The main difference in presets, so you will be transformed from the old retouching to the new one automatically, but the settings, like the actual numbers, will be the same. So with the new retouching, the same numbers could be slightly low. I mean, they will look more subtle than the previous versions. So what we suggest to do is to increase numbers a little bit, increase strength with the new retouching, or reach out our image quality team and we will help you to do that.
Great. We have another question here. Any toning controls, exposure, etc. I believe, and Alina, please correct me if I'm wrong. This is purely about retouching tools, not about toning tools. So I don't think there's any changes been made to toning controls.
Correct. No changes. Everything that we already have works the same way.
But if you're asking if we have those tools, yes, we do have toning and exposure technology, of course, as well. It's not part of the retouching update.
Next question is very interesting. MCP for Claude, is that available? Not right now, but interesting idea. I would love to hear more about it, and it's something we can definitely look into.
What does that mean for those that don't know acronyms? MPC for Claude.
Well, it's basically an integration into Claude, so something that allows us to use Claude to potentially prompt out retouching or process images, right? Process retouching. All right. I see another question. This one's over here in the chat. If I run PC via server, what type of update will I need to perform to benefit from 2.0? Depends on what platform you're leveraging. So if you're on PC and you're using Quick Server, all you need to do is just upgrade. You would have gotten an auto updater prompt already as of this morning. You hit update, it picks up retouching, or it picks up our new, or it gets upgraded to our new retouching engine. If you have an SDK deployment, then that needs to be you'll need the file. So we'll make sure we package that up, send that over to you, and guide you through the implementation.
One cool thing with the SDK to point out, though, it's backwards compatible, meaning for those of you that already have the old SDK implemented, get the new one, you swap it out, everything will still work. You're going to have the new engine and your image quality is going to be different, but there's no change to the core API. I recall, David, you were happy with that because you didn't need to update any or make any more development efforts because everyone's super busy. So we try to make it as streamlined as possible.
All right. I don't see any more questions. Let's give it a few more minutes.
Yeah, workbenches are a tool, just most of you know that, but that's the testing tool. That's the best way to run images through, see the before and after, see the difference before. That's what I was doing. And as Alina had mentioned, but it's an important point, we are more gentle with the new retouching. So the same toggle between the old and the new, we're going to be a bit more subtle. So I'd often increase up the eye enlargement, skin smoothing to make it more aggressive and toggle back between the old and the new. And the old one before was very soft or too much, and the new one still preserved the details. So it was a good way to kind of redline it, so to speak, like your sports car, and see how it works, see how it performs, and see the impact on the images. And like everything we do, out of the box, we have our default presets that work. And then if you want to tweak that or tune that, that's all in your court. So you can have your own custom look for your printers, your lab. That's all available. If you want it fully automatic in the back end, if you want to give your customers a couple of sliders to tweak or buttons through the SDK, that's all possible. Looks like we have quite the quiet crowd today. Correct. That's from our fearless CTO, and correct. There is no new hardware requirements that are required because it's classical, so it just runs as you did before, CPU based. Thank you for that.
Great. Thank you so much for your great questions, everybody. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Happy retouching to testing, and we're always here if you need anything. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you all.